Hello and welcome to the final concert of the 2020 Fresh Ink Festival. This is the last of 12 public events that we have presented on live stream. We have had 24 world premieres over this weekend, which is super exciting for us. And we have to thank the Stephen R. Gerber Trust, which has partnered with us over the last few years to commission all 24 works that are presented and premiered and created during the festival. Every year we work with the Gerber Trust on a theme, and this year's theme is revision. I can't think of a more appropriate theme for this year. Every arts organization has had to revise their process, their place in the world, the way that we are working, the way we're collaborating. And this has been an incredible opportunity for us and for all of our participants to have that experience together, to learn from each other, to be vulnerable and to make mistakes, to try again, all of those wonderful things. So this has been an incredible learning year, and we're so grateful to the Gerber Trust for making all of that possible. And usually my remarks at the starts of these shows are a little bit short, but because it's the last one, I've got a lot of people to thank, so bear with me. They're all super important. First of all, I want to thank our composition faculty, without whom none of the works that we are seeing would be as beautiful and wonderful as they are. So first of all, Dan Visconti, Jennifer Higdon, Sean O'Pebolo, Mark Mellitz, Austin Wintery, and Lisa Bialawa, who actually invited us into her broadcast from home process over these last several weeks. And I just want to highlight one thing that she said during one of the preparation calls for broadcast from home, where she basically said, I'm a pen and paper kind of girl. And, the opportunity to create online was just such an unexpected thing. And she essentially said that she's having to reframe and turn over her entire process. So what a wonderful model and opportunity for us to do that alongside her during this time. And she also said that the opportunity to do that has made this one of the most collaborative times for her. So while we are distanced physically, we are not distanced in terms of our art and our social lives. So thank you so much to Lisa for being such a great example. I'd also like to thank Steve Snowden and Ray Lustig, both of whom have similarly opened up works of music that were either written for this moment or written for this medium. Both of them we were lucky to have on stream with us earlier this week. Feel free to check back on our YouTube page and see those performances of works that they guided our participants in reimagining specifically for the festival. I would like to thank my Fifth House colleagues, Grace, Alessandro, Eric, Parker, Azusa, Sixto, Hareen, Alex, and Jeremy. Thank you all so much for all of your amazing artistry, guidance, teaching, playing, and assistance with everything going on at the festival. It's been incredible to have you. I'd also like to thank Alex Olsadsky, the Fresh Ink overlord, who has kept the wheels on the bus, and her assistant, Hannah Pearson, who is joining us this year from the Masters in Arts Leadership program at the Eastman School of Music. Shout out to my alma mater. I also graduated from there. And none of this would have been possible, the revision around what we're doing this year, without an incredible team of people who have helped guide us through all of the technical opportunities and challenges for this summer. They've been working tirelessly to help us as a staff and an organization imagine what's possible, and also to work with individual composers and their groups to devise their own way of working during this time. So huge thanks to Ryan Ingebrigtsen, Jason Charney, Daniel McKemmy, Donovan Seidel, Sola Adibo, and also Eric Heidbreder, who you will see on today's stream as our MC. We are, as Ryan said during one of our planning calls, working at the edge of what's possible. A lot of the pieces that you are seeing here, we originally intended to record in parts. But many of them were actually written to use like new tools and plugins that help us to rehearse and collaborate across a distance, which means that they actually can be performed live, which is really wonderful and something that we've been playing with, learning about, and super excited to play with the boundaries of during this festival. So that's been great. The festival also includes over 25 professional development workshops, everything from public speaking, marketing, starting an arts organization, artistic programming, educational program design, civic practice. If you'd like to learn about that entire suite of workshops and our team of guest experts, check us out at freshinkfestival.com. You can access the full archive on our digital edition page. It's all available to you there, and there's a way to sign up, which is great. So we'd love to have you. And I'd also like to have a huge thanks to all of our participants this year. When we reimagined this festival for a digital format, we asked them to create works that would look at remote collaboration as a feature and not a bug. And I have to say, just reporting back, you're seeing sort of the final, right? But 90% of this has been about the process itself. And they have responded to this moment with such courage and joy. And especially in the midst of multiple national and international crises, the thoughtfulness with which they've handled incredibly weighty conversations about the future has been so incredible and inspiring to see. And one thing that I can definitely report back to all of you watching is that our future is in very, very good hands. And I strongly believe in their ability to both make great art and to make great change. And it's been such a pleasure being in a virtual room with all of them. So I'd also like to thank all of the rest of our sponsors, including the Stephen R. Gerber Trust, which I mentioned earlier on, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Aaron Copland Fund, the Empion Foundation, Shore, which helped us to provide microphones to all of our participants this year, and last but very much not least, the Kenosha Community Foundation. Now, I have to give a little love in particular to Mr. Bob Schneider, who has been our angel and our hero. He is retiring from the foundation this year. Just a note, when we talk about what it means to create relationships during our professional development workshops at the festival, Bob is like the shining example of what this means. We always like to say, people hire people, people fund people. And this is the best example. When we were envisioning the festival before it came to be in 2012, Bob actually drove out during one of my teaching breaks to Carthage College to like sit with me at the bagel shop on campus and help me to envision what this festival was going to be and who needed to know about it and who would support it and where it could be. He drove me around town in his car to take me to all of the really cool venues on campus, to meet new people, to meet people who could be sponsors or venues that could be our collaborators. And over the last 9 years, we've been at libraries, museums, youth summer programs, retirement communities, concert spaces, and of course, the Kenosha Creative Space, which is a new, lively, really invigorating spot for art making. And they're actually cross-posting all of our events this summer, and especially today as part of Make Music Kenosha. So we cannot wait to be back in Kenosha again next summer. And today we have Tom Targos joining us later on in the broadcast representing the Kenosha Community Foundation. But in the meantime, I'd like everyone to like raise a glass or water bottle or whatever you have in your immediate vicinity to Bob Schneider. He's an enormously wonderful human being who will be very, very missed. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us. And tonight we are raising funds for BEAM, which is the Black Emotional and Mental Health Collective. I'm matching the first $100 in donations. Join me in supporting at the links on YouTube and Facebook, wherever you happen to be watching. Over the festival, and we've had 9 out of 10 concerts so far, we have raised over $3,000 for organizations doing anti-racism work all over the course of these 2 weeks. Let's just keep it going today. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our MC, Eric Heidbreder, who has tirelessly worked during this festival. I think he's going to need a multi-week nap after all of this. And he is joined by the composer of our first piece, Conor Whitman.
Hello. Yes, I definitely do need a nap, but not before we present 8 more completely new works of music. And I'm super excited to start off by introducing Conor Whitman. Hello, Conor. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good.
Awesome. And Conor, where are you coming to us from today?
I am from Plainfield, which is a suburb of Chicago.
Awesome. How long have you been in Plainfield?
For pretty much my whole life, with the exception of when I'm at school studying, which is in Peoria at Bradley University.
Awesome. So, okay. In Plainfield, you've been there for a long time. What is something that if someone comes to Plainfield, you have to do?
Just visit a lot of the parks and see a lot of the history in the high school, which was damaged by the tornado years ago and was a huge historical moment for the town.
Awesome. And do you have any favorite things to do in the area in general around Chicago?
I really enjoy eating Chicago-style pizza, whatever restaurant serves it.
That's a good answer. There's no wrong way to do that kind of pizza. Awesome. So, Connor, I'm really excited we got to work together on this piece, and I'm excited to have everybody else get to see it. So, could you tell us a little bit about what we are going to see?
For this piece of music, and for most of the pieces of music I like to write, I look towards nature for inspiration. And when I was searching for the text for this piece, I looked for something that related to nature and found a poem by British poet Alfred Lord Tennyson titled Nothing Will Die. I decided to write my piece about this poem as the resilience of nature discussed in it has a lot of parallels to how people continue to move forward during difficult times like now.
When will the stream be
All right. Wow. Connor, thank you so much for that piece. You are getting a lot of love in the chat. You've also sparked a very contentious pizza debate on YouTube. So we'll see how that continues. But hopefully, no one ended up throwing a pie across the chat. So Zhenya, Noah, Alex, thank you for your comments. This is so beautiful. Great texture. Love the instrumentation. So people are loving that. Let's keep this train going. Oh, also, it looks like we are less than $25 away from our matching goal for the Black Emotional and Mental Health Collective already. Wow. After one piece. So thanks, Jade Garcia, Amalia Young, Alexa Laterno, Ava Shadmani, and Brian Entwistle for your generous support so far. Let's keep this going. Just because we meet our match doesn't mean we have to stop, y'all. Let's keep it going. And with that, let's bring up our next composer, Sarah Jordan. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. So, Sarah, where are you coming to us from today?
I'm coming from just outside of Eugene, Oregon.
Nice. All right. So we're going from right outside of Chicago to all the way across the country from me right now. That's what's so great. I love how we're interacting with each other on such a varied distance, and that's been such a difficulty to kind of comprehend how we're going to do this. I'm curious, at Fresh Ink, how many different people did you interact with? Like, where are they from?
I've interacted with tons of people just all across the country, like from New York and the East Coast. There's been fellow West Coasters in California, Midwest, and up north. And I've also have interaction with people in England and in Germany, and it's people from Brazil and things like that. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and can you tell us a little bit about your piece? And I'm curious, is your piece, how is it like making a piece or conceptualizing a piece of music with the idea that you're going to have people from all across the world trying to play it together?
Yeah, so I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit of a challenge, but overall, I'm really happy with the results and the experience that I got to put this piece together. So I actually composed this piece in mind of that it was going to be rehearsed and performed over Zoom. So I left a lot of wiggle room in terms of how the piece fit together because of the latency that is usual in Zoom, especially with me being in like the wilderness almost and having a big latency issue. So that is a huge part of the piece. The other part of the piece that I wanted to kind of express is kind of just how all of us have been handling and dealing and living our lives through the past few months. And to do that, I actually incorporated audio samples that I've collected throughout my time in quarantine. And I also incorporated audio samples from my performers as well.
Oh, so lovely. Sarah, thank you for that. We were debating in the YouTube chat of whether one of the samples was rain falling or a fire crackling. So I don't know if we actually got that cleared up, but some people are saying it's a fire crackling. Maybe it is rain. We're not 100% sure yet. But lovely. The Noah, Alexa, Laterno, Brian, Juno, thank you for all your comments. Use of audio recordings makes this feel like a memory. What an amazing integration of different sources, especially love the whistling. There's another debate going on about whistling flutists and how rare that seems to be. Great. Thank you so much. And our YouTube chat is going wild right now, and our Facebook chat seems to be pretty quiet. So Facebook, we want some comments from you as well. What are you thinking about during these pieces? Let's find out. And more updates on our donations. Looks like the train is continuing for donations for the Black Emotional and Mental Health Collective. Noah Nethery and Tad Gray, with your additions, we've raised $283 so far. So round of applause to everyone who's donated so far. But again, this is the last performance. It doesn't have to stop here. Let's keep it going. I want more updates like that. Lovely. So with that, let's bring up Joshua Brown. Josh, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I am very good. Oh, I hear little birdies out there.
Yeah, I'm right next to a road and a forest. So I'm right in the middle of nature and industry.
I love it. I was curious if Sarah's piece had continued moving through our interview.
Maybe.
Awesome. So where are you coming to us from, Josh?
I'm in Grove City, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour north of Pittsburgh.
Great. What kind of birds do they have out there?
We got lots of robins that I'm trying to feed. I'm desperately trying to make all these animals my friends with I have Crave, the little weird cereal with chocolate inside, and I keep throwing it at them. I have bananas and I keep tossing it, and then they don't want it. They don't want to be my friend, and it makes me so sad.
Oh, that's very sad. I think you've got to just really listen to what they're saying to you. Listen to their cravings.
Yeah, truly. They're like, we want a mango.
We want a mango, Josh. Give us mango.
What's wrong with you? Out of season.
Well, I love it. So yeah, if anybody has any thoughts on what Josh can feed the birds, that's a good way to get involved in the chat. I'm just saying. Lovely. Well, Josh, I'm super excited to hear your piece as well. All these pieces, it's so great to be hearing them. Some I've worked on, some I have not. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the piece we are going to hear right now?
Cool. Yeah. So The Man Who Invented Humility is the fourth installation in a pretty long song cycle that I'm working on with my friend and librettist Lauren DeRico. It's essentially an exploration of invention and ownership. And so these people invent things and they try to hold on to them. And eventually that becomes too strong and they become completely consumed by that. So in this one, it's sort of an exploration of the humble brag, which is a way of updating your life, updating your friends on your life, which is sort of self-effacing. You're like, oh, I'm so humbled and honored and blessed to receive this thing that's really impressive. Everybody clap for me. And so it takes that sort of self-effacing, weird way of bragging about yourself and throws it into the nth dimension. Yeah, it's very exciting.
My work life is thriving. I have so many potential avenues open to me in my pursuit of a successful career in the arts. They say when it rains, it pours, and I am standing in a deluge of an email to read and responses to write and meetings to set. I've got so much going on. 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 But the unfortunate truth of having a creative career is that no one's around to witness each step of my contacts into a friends list. So I invented a platform. For me, all about me, only for me, just me. For me to talk where no one can interrupt me, where everyone is always listening. organization, a more exclusive and reputable organization, a more exclusive and reputable organization. It is my humble honor to humbly share that I am still waiting on a more exclusive and reputable organization to respond to my inquiries for any possible opportunities. I am so excited to humbly announce my honor to share that during these trying times that I'm so humbly honored to humbly announce my humble accomplishment of being excited to share that I am humbled to have the humble honor to finally be able to let you all know that I am still waiting for a more exclusive and reputable organization to respond to my many emails for a date, for that meeting to be set, for that program, for that opportunity, for that gig, for anyone to get back to me.
All right, Josh, thank you for that piece. People seem to really like it. Dan Visconti says, Josh, this piece represents such a great intersection of the human desires and frailties that never change and the humble brag culture that is uniquely now. Bravo. And then on YouTube, people are saying things like, holy smokes, that was so good. Oh my God, I love it. Histoire d'artiste. Alexa Laterno says, this is hilarious. I love it. So thank you, Josh. And we're getting some updates on our donations as well. It looks like we have raised almost $500 now for the Black Emotional and Mental Health Collective, thanks to Deborah Wilson Gilbert. So, Zhenya, maybe we'll have you thank that special person in just a moment. But I am so humbly honored and excited to announce the next composer, Zhenya St. Charles Gilbert. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, I think I know that Deborah Wilson Gilbert person. Name sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. Well, thanks to them for donating. We really appreciate it. So Zhenya, where are you streaming to us from?
Yeah, I'm currently in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yeah, in my.
Lovely. How is Ann Arbor right now?
It is very slow because it's a college town. A lot of people just kind of left in late March, and so there's not nearly as many people around. Very.
Well, I do know that there are some other Ann Arbor folks here at Fresh Ink right now. Is that right?
Yes, Adrian Wong, whose piece you will hear a little bit later, lives just down the hill from me. So yeah.
So there's approximately 2 people in Ann Arbor right now. It's you,
yeah,
and Adrian. Lovely. Well, we're excited to hear his piece later as well. But why don't you tell us a little bit about what we are going to hear right now?
Sure. So I was lucky enough to work with Freya, Becca, Hunter, you, Eric, Aaron, and Jeremy on this piece, which has been a lot of fun. The piece is called Time Keeps Moving. It's really about having regrets and maybe having a desire to change things in the past, which I think probably most people do to some extent. I certainly do. And it's just sort of a reflection on the difficulty of dealing with that and kind of coming to the realization that no matter what you would like to change about the past, time keeps moving.
Hello. Wow, Zhenya, thank you for that great piece. Once again, the YouTube chat is just blowing up with love. It looks like we got a lot of comments here. So this texture shimmers me timbers. Wow, very nice. I like that. Fascinating notation and beautiful result, Zhenya. The title rings so true. And Kenosha Foundation comments, and this is great. Kudos on the color coding. It makes it fun for those of us who are musically challenged to follow along. We agree. And lastly, Emily Broad says, love the countdown clock represented a measured length of time, but this beautiful color score represented the same measured length. Very cool. So thank you so much for that. And now I want to welcome Kadu. Kadu, how are you doing?
I'm good. And you?
Lovely. I am good. Thanks for asking. So, Kadu, where are you streaming to us from right now?
I'm in Normal, Illinois.
Awesome. And how long have you been in Normal?
Almost a year. I came here to study at Illinois State University, so it's now almost a year.
Nice. Where were you at before Normal?
I live in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro.
Wow.
Yeah, I came here in August.
Gotcha. Oh, wow. Okay, so you've been here very shortly. Let's see. What's one thing you wish you could bring with you from Brazil to the U.S.? Like, what's something we don't have here?
Oh, I would say the fruits. They are different from Brazil. I'm just going to say this.
Tell us how you really feel, Kadu. Awesome. So yeah, it sounds like we need to get some Brazilian fruits. Is there any like specific fruit that we don't have here that like everyone's missing out on, or that's like very different in Brazil?
Yeah, there is one. I just don't know how to say this in English. It's acerola. Mm-hmm. It's a really small berry, citric. I really love this.
Nice. Well, I hope we all get to try it at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. All right. Well, Kadu, I had the pleasure of working on this next piece with you. So can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to hear?
Yeah. Monomania, it's about an obsession for one thing, whichever this may be, something material, a dream, or a person. It's about this thing growing in your thoughts silently and slowly. You don't realize what is happening, and you don't see it coming until it's too late, until all your mind and will are bent over this ideal object, and until this relentless and insane desire for possessing it by all means crumbles your sanity. Dealing with the tricks of the mind is complex, and monomania is about the impression of one's obsessive mind and how it sways from delusion to violence in the rush to clutch what he craves.
Wow. So it seems like we had some more Brazilians in the chat cheering Cadu on. Cadu, thank you so much for that piece. Wow, 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 wow. People are loving it. Teresa says, I feel like this could be in a film score. So if there's any executives watching, I think Cadu would probably oblige that. Miranda Schreiber says, the way this was built and developed was really nice. Becky says, these tremolos are crazy and the build is insane. And I think Monomania, the title suggests that might have been intentional. Ooh. Yeah, and to all the performers on that, wow. Wow, wow, wow. A lot of really active playing. Superb. I love it. So now I want to bring up our next composer. Welcome, Brian Junod. I did it again. Brian, can you help me? Junod. I'm so sorry. As somebody who also has like an unpronounceable last name to most people, I feel your pain and I wish I could do better. But Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm existing. It keeps happening. I don't know why. How about you?
I'm good. I got a lot of sleep, so I'm very, very well rested, if nothing else. And
about time.
I know,
so
right? And Brian, where are you streaming to us from today?
I'm in Cicero, upstate New York.
Nice, upstate New York. So I have never been to upstate New York. What is upstate New York like?
Well, we're not all farmers. I promise you that much, but it is a really beautiful place. There's a lot of great scenery. We're nearby the Adirondacks as well, if you're into the outdoors. And I will say a lot of our food is very underrated. I'm in the Syracuse area. We're known for our salt potatoes. If you've never tried it, I mean, it's small potatoes, butter, and salt. You really can't go wrong. So
amazing. Okay, so salt potatoes. What was there was a Brazilian berry we were talking about. Somebody said what it's called in English. I can't remember what it was, but the answer is in the YouTube chat. So there's that and salt potatoes that we all need to try out. Apparently. Lovely. Well, Brian, thanks so much for writing this next piece. Can you tell us a little bit about what we are going to hear?
Oh boy. So, like just about, all composers and artists at this time, I was sort of left with this question when we entered lockdown, which was, how do we motivate ourselves to be working artistically and creatively when so many things feel pointless, quite frankly. I definitely struggled to motivate myself to put pen on paper. And this piece we're about to hear called Magic Square was sort of a way that I found a way of admitting to myself that, not everything is normal and not everything is okay. Instead of writing a sort of mostly determined, 7 parts, 7 players, I made a sort of pseudo-random division of 7 parts. And for the past several weeks, the amazing 7 performers you're about to hear, Ava, Sixto, John, Torstein, Suki, Eric, our wonderful MC, and Parker have been rotating who plays each part on just about a weekly basis, and each time we've been recording each iteration, and I've been layering them all as we go, so it's just been building more and more, and you're about to hear all 49 tracks at the same time, so that's going to be a lot of sounds happening all at once. If y'all are not wearing headphones already, I highly recommend you put them on now and get into this sonic nightmare.
Wow, Brian, thank you so much for blasting us off into another dimension. The YouTube chat, I think, has finally returned to this current dimension and said things like, "This is such a cool concept. Noah did enter the higher dimension of existence. Hopefully, Noah comes back." Ryan Ingebrigtsen says, "We are now in a space together. Its parameters are defined by our ears, not our eyes. I love this space. I could stay in it forever." So lovely. It looks like we have some more donation updates as well. So thank you to Zhenya Gilbert for donating to Beam. We are now over the $500 mark, which is amazing. Thank all of you. And also Elizabeth Easley, thank you for your donation to the Black Emotional and Mental Health Collective. Once again, we have 2 performers left. There is still time to get over the $600 mark if we wanted to. So don't feel like it's too late. You can always donate. It's always for a good cause, and we thank you for that. Now, next up, we have Adrian Wong. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you towards the end of the festival?
I am excellent. This chair has done me wonders. I recommend everybody buy a gaming chair if you have access to a cheap one. Don't spend all the money, but it has been so nice for my bottom. So, Adrian, where are you streaming to us from today?
I'm from Hong Kong, but I'm streaming over, as Zhenya said, from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Awesome. How long have you been in Ann Arbor?
Well, I'm going to be a senior next year, so this is my third year in Ann Arbor.
Awesome. And were you in the States before that, or did you come over from?
No, I just came over for college.
Awesome. Wow. So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Kadu. What is something that you wish you could bring over to the States from your home?
I think I have a pretty similar answer to Kadu, actually. The food, because American food, yeah, you say it's all right. You say it's great. I'm so sorry, everyone. It's not for me. I wish I could bring everything from Hong Kong over and just indulge, but alas.
Oh yeah. So I think we're going to have another food discussion in the chat now based on that. Well, thanks so much for being here. I know both you and Zhenya are both in Ann Arbor, so hopefully you all will get to see each other soon rather than just seeing each other over Zoom chats. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience at Fresh Ink and what it's been like for you?
It's been really, really great because most I've only actually been to one other music festival, but it feels so different because the last one I've been to, it's so music focused and everything was about the music, the music, the music. Whereas for Fresh Ink, it's just been the music and everything surrounding the music, the business side of things, like how do we contribute back society, like what is an artist's role in society, that sort of thing. And it's sort of really broadened my horizons. So I'm very grateful for attending.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you. So thanks for being here and being a part of the 2020 group. I'm really excited to hear your piece. I love hearing all the things that I have not played on or worked on because it's always a completely fresh experience for me. So why don't you tell me and everybody who's watching out on stream a little bit about your piece?
Sure. The next piece you're about to hear is called Distanced, and it is an elegy for strings, and it was written in the midst of the COVID-19 epidemic. And I'm sure everyone has gone through and has been feeling a sense of isolation and separation, be it literally or figuratively, between partners, families, and friends. And when you couple that with what's happened recently, the tragic killing of George Floyd, and personally what's happening in my hometown, Hong Kong, for the past year or so, the sense of isolation and separation has amplified and has sort of brewed over into anger and frustration. And in this piece, you'll hear just that. You'll hear sadness going into anger and coming back into sadness. This is also brought out through the harmonic organization of the piece. The two violins start out together, playing the same note in unison. And as the other instruments gradually come in, the harmony becomes into seconds, thirds, fourths, and diverges until to the climax, where we have sevenths. And then we gradually converge back to unison. Before we start, I'd like to thank our amazing players, Ava, Amalia, Sixto, John, and Alex, as well as our tech guru, Donovan. Thank you for listening.
Wow, Adrian, that was a very deep and impactful piece. Our YouTube comments were loving it. So really quickly, just want to throw out some praise your way. Noah says, I'm impressed at the big sound of this. Such a beautiful and exciting piece, full of energy, says Emmy. And Hunter says, I can't even imagine how this would sound in a concert hall. Yes, we all hope we can get back to concert halls very soon. And one last thing, I want to say thank you and hello to all the Brazilian folks by saying obrigado to you for being here. And now I want to hand it off to Melissa and Tom.
Hooray, thank you so much. We are excited to be here. Look, there are 4 of us now. Bet you didn't expect that. So it is my pleasure to introduce Tom Targos, who has been another angel to us at the Fresh Ink Festival. Tom has worked closely with the Kenosha Community Foundation for years. So Tom, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about the work of the foundation.
Sure, Melissa. First, thanks for being a part of Make Music Kenosha. It's great that you're participating. The Kenosha Community Foundation, which I'm a project coordinator and also a donor, is an $11 million community foundation that covers Kenosha County. We give out $750,000 to $1 million in grants, scholarships, awards, commissions, sponsorships. And in the words of our outgoing executive director, Bob Schneider, the motto that we have is helping Kenosha County master the art of charitable giving since 1926. Now, since 2012, we have been really pleased and proud to support the Fresh Ink Festival through a variety of donations and funds, but most frequently through the Lefebvre Family Fund. This fund gives out grants specifically to organizations and projects that promote education through the arts, humanities, tolerance, and communication. So in the words of Bob, he often said, you know, giving a grant from the Lefebvre Fund to Fresh Ink Festival, it hits the sweet spot. So once again, thanks a lot for having us as part of your festival. And we hope and really, really hope that you can come back to Kenosha, where, as you can see, it's really beautiful. We miss you guys.
You're definitely making our hearts ache by showing us the amazing outside in Kenosha. We love being there every year. We love our partnership with the Kenosha Community Foundation and also with the Kenosha Creative Space. So if any of you are watching off of the Creative Spaces Facebook page, thank you so much for posting, for cross-posting, for being with us throughout this whole festival. And one thing that many folks may not know is that every year the Kenosha Community Foundation and Tom, you personally sponsor a commission from one composer. And for the past few years, and I think this is actually our 7th time doing this, we have focused that in alignment with the Kenosha Community Foundation's scholarship efforts and grant-making priorities around supporting people of color and female composers as well. So we've helped to select a composer every year. And Tom, if there's anything else you'd like to say about the commission opportunity itself, please feel free. We're excited to have you here, not just to talk about the foundation, but also to announce this year's commissioned composer.
Yeah, just briefly, we've had 6 compositions already. You can see them if you go to our YouTube channel, Kenosha F. They are briefly Jared Miller, Sid Richardson, Zach Green, Haley Woodrow, Emily Joy Sullivan, and last year, Dajuan I. All great performances. And in the very first performance, of course, you and Eric participated in at the Kenosha Museum. So we're looking forward to the new composition from Becky.
So that tells us that Becky is winning this year's commission. So congratulations to you, Becky. And we're excited to be working with you to record a wind piece. We're figuring out the instrumentation now, from what I understand. But Becky, a few words from you.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm just so grateful to be able to be a part of this Fresh Ink experience this summer, despite everything that's been happening. And I'm super, super, super excited and thankful to be able to work with Fifth House after this festival. So just thank you so much.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for your incredible generosity, for working with us throughout the festival. For those of you who don't know Tom personally, he is an international man of mystery who has spent many years across the globe doing incredible work. Kenosha is very grateful to have you. We're grateful to have you. Thank you so much for being with us on stream. And I'm going to hand back off to Eric and Becky.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Becky.
Thank you.
That was a surprise to me. So awesome. before we dive in, I want to thank the people who have donated as well. We're above $500 now. I don't know how much, but thank you to Spencer Arias, Mike Ryman, Oliver Quapis, Mary Beth Palmatier, Remy Ha, Alexis Laterno. Thank you so much. This is the last piece of the festival. So if you are still feeling like donating, there is still time, and we'll have one more round of recognition as well. So please don't let the train stop here. Let's keep donating to Black Emotional and Mental Health Collective. And thank you so much for everybody who's supported so far. Now, Becky, how are you doing?
I'm good, Eric. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. So, Becky, where are you streaming to us from?
I'm currently in Ithaca, New York, upstate New York, just like Brian.
Oh, awesome. So you know about the garbage plate then?
Wait, what is that?
Okay, yeah. So that was something that was going on in the YouTube comments. I looked it up, and let's all have a live reaction to what the garbage plate is. It looks like it's macaroni salad. At least this is one version of it. Macaroni salad, like home fries or hash browns, any protein, it doesn't matter, it seems, meat gravy, and like white bread. And then
that sounds really interesting. That sounds pretty good.
I kind of dig it. So it turns out I've been making garbage plates my whole life and just didn't know. Anyway, yeah, this whole thing has been about food. So why don't you please tell us about the piece that you wrote for the festival?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So Tipping Point is basically about like working together to fix mistakes before they reach the point of no return. So a tipping point in environmental science is the threshold that once you pass it creates irreversible changes to our world. So for example, as we put more and more carbon into the atmosphere, pressures from global warming bring us closer and closer to these tipping points. And in this piece, I was thinking about both the concept of reflection along with revision. So actually halfway through the piece, after a moment of chaos, you'll hear the first half of the piece played backwards in reverse electronically. The live instruments will actually respond to this hindsight with long cry-like melodies that will work together to bring us back to a more empathetic beginning. And I must thank Sola, our tech director, who made this whole thing possible, who made the rehearsals run so smoothly, and of course thank Grace, Hunter, and Randall for being magnificent performers, and thank you all for listening.
Wow. Becky, congratulations on receiving the award from the Kenosha Community Foundation and for that lovely piece. Thank you so much. The bassoon writing made me very, very happy. So, wow. I am floored. We are currently over $750 for the Black Emotional and Mental Health Collective that we've raised just tonight or today. What is it? Today. So thank you for Brian Junod, Sixto Franco, and Alexa Laterno for your donations to get us over that hump. We are at $3,750 overall raised throughout the festival for various charities that are focused on anti-racism work. So thank you so much. And I want to thank all of our sponsors for making this whole festival possible. The Stephen R. Gilbert Trust, which commissioned all of the 24 new works of chamber music that we presented this weekend. The National Endowment for the Arts, the Amphion Foundation, the Aaron Copeland Fund for Music, and Shure, which partnered with us to provide mics to participants, which made them all sound lovely, especially while I was editing the projects. And thank you to the Kenosha Community Foundation so much. You have supported us since our inception, and thank you for the upcoming commission to Becky. You can keep following the Fresh Ink Festival at www.freshinkfestival.com, and you can check out all of the festival's performances and the 25 plus workshops. They're all available on the digital edition, and if you head to the website, you can get some support in getting to our digital edition page. So thank you all so much. The comments have been on fire tonight, and I just want to say to all of our participants who are here, this was such a huge adjustment that we had to make to get the festival going online. And I thank you for all of your just willingness and drive to get these projects done, because this was not easy. Starting off not knowing how to record for some of you and record remotely and do projects online. Getting to the point where you are now is huge, and I hope you take that with you. And I want to end with something that Sixto posted in our Discord that we have for Fresh Ink last night, that you are how the new era looks and sounds like. So thank you so much for all of your work. We couldn't have done this without you as well. Performers, participants, everybody. Thank you to all the staff at Fifth House behind the scenes who've been keeping things going. Thank you to our tech team, of which I am a part of. Yes, I'm thanking myself. And thank you to Sola, who has been running the streams all the time. Sola, you rock. Let's get a big effing chat for fantastic for Sola. Hopefully Sola will get a nice little break after this. And finally, let's bring back all of the composers from tonight on screen to say farewell to you one last time. This is a big wave from the Fresh Ink Festival to you, wherever you are watching this from.